All right, so these are the backgrounds that I did for my journal this week. So this is my first background. I kind of thought it'd be interesting. I did watercolor for the road, acrylics for the like yellow intersection, or not intersection, but the yellow like middle part of the road. And then I did watercolor here. I colored this in color pencil, and then I did like a marker sun. And I wrote keep pushing on here because I kind of thought it would represent like a cloudy little area until you go into the light, and then it's like a little road. So I thought it would kind of relate to my theme, since my theme is all about the future and how the future is bright essentially. And then this right here is another background that I did. I just kind of did black dots. So I just did that because I thought it'd be cool. They're all just a bunch of like watercolor dots on here. That was a technique that I read in the book, so I thought that'd be interesting to try out, and I did it like uniformed. In the beginning I kind of thought it was going to look like bricks. It didn't quite end up looking like bricks, but it was an interesting experiment. And fortunately I got some yellow from right here, but oh well. So these are some emojis. Basically, I wanted to do an emotions page, and originally I was going to go in depth with it, but honestly I'm not that great of an artist, so I figured I would just go with some popular emojis. I did the faces in yellow watercolor, and then I kind of just used marker to draw the faces on, and I thought it would be really cute and fun. Next, I did some trees. So again, this is all watercolor, but I actually used my thumbprints for these trees. I read about doing kind of like more stuff with your thumbs and your hands, so I thought it'd be interesting to try that out, and I tried to texture it with different colors, so like different color green, just to like add some texture to it. Next is this right here. Again, I thought this would kind of relate to my theme. I did this in watercolor as well, and this I kind of used like angling the brush in different ways to see how it would work, so I could like write in an interesting way. I think it came out pretty well. I tried to I tried to paint a graduation cap, and that didn't quite work out, but it just was kind of following my theme of the future, and I also wanted to try out using some different angles for my brush. This right here is complete marker, but I kind of liked it. I just did some song lyrics. I did some notes, some music notes and stuff like that with song lyrics, since I thought that'd be interesting and fun. This right here is some geometric shapes. Again, I read about this technique in the book, so I wanted to try it out as well. I made some geometric shapes in marker, and then I kind of colored it in with watercolor in different colors. I did this side black and this side yellow. Again, not to just keep repeating that I keep doing stuff from the book, but again, I wanted to try this out too. In the book, I noticed that there was kind of like someone who made little like swirls in words and then did outlines with watercolors. That's what I tried. I did a song called Kids Again, which is one of my favorite songs, and it has like two kind of characters in the song, so I figured I could do two different ones with those characters and kind of use the first stanza of the song. So these two pages were me kind of messing around with watercolor. I'm not really experienced with watercolor, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to try it out. For this, I just went straight. I used watercolor. It didn't quite turn out the way I wanted to because I expected it to be lighter, but I kind of know what my mistake was now. And then I did acrylics on the sides for the black on the side. And then I didn't really like how it looked, so I figured adding stars to it would be cool. On this side, I actually used an eyedropper for the black parts of it. I did just a blue base, and then I used an eyedropper for the black. And then it looked interesting enough, but I wanted to kind of add these like elongated parts here, so I just kind of did that to make it look more interesting. I think it ended up looking kind of like a virus or something, but at the end of the day, I think it was still kind of cool, and it was a good experience to try out the eyedropper. For my next page, I have this. So I actually used the string technique for this. So I took some string, dipped it in paint, but it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. So what I ended up doing is I ended up putting like a piece of yarn on the page and then taking a brush and going over the yarn to make these like kind of lines. It ended up looking pretty interesting, actually. I like that I kind of like took my mistake from earlier, since I didn't really like how it came out with just the yarn, and just kind of did something else with it, but kind of following like a similar technique. I thought it looked interesting. For this, I kind of flipped through a newspaper and I found some like really old, like rustic looking pictures that I liked. So I kind of just glued them on here and then did some kind of watercolor paints on the side to make it look cool and make kind of the images pop out a little. And I gave each image its own kind of like color as a theme, and then did its side of the page in that watercolor. So, and then for this page, I used watercolors again. All of these were kind of me just trying to experiment with watercolors and different techniques. So for this, I took a paper towel and kind of dabbed it in different like watercolors and dabbed it on the page to use that technique. I think it came out pretty good. This one was, again, messing around with watercolor for the purple and then going over and just like doodling over it with little flowers that I like. So these are kind of like a staple of my art style, so I just figured I'd kind of like doodle over them. And then for this one, I think I finally successfully used the watercolor by here, since I was actually able to get kind of that that fade that I was looking for and that cool like dry that I was kind of looking for. So I think this actually came out really well, and I also angled the brush to make these cool little lines, which I thought was interesting. And same with this. I used different brush angles to do these smiles in watercolor, and then I just outlined it in marker. All of this is marker too, just because I thought that these cool little formations were interesting and I wanted to follow kind of a similar color scheme for it, so I just thought that looked kind of cute. But yeah, these are my backgrounds this first time. I'll just flip through it one more time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. It was fun. I had a lot of fun with this project, even though I'm not the best artist.